Hello everyone and welcome back to Kathy's Kitchen. I'm here with Pam Jacobson and we have a really yummy recipe for you today. It's a twist on an Italian recipe but made just a little bit healthier, as we would say, right?
Right.
Because what we're making today is spaghetti squash with turkey meatballs, right?
Yes.
And this is another recipe coming from Pam, thank you, because we know every recipe coming from you is perfect.
So the ingredients are pretty simple. We've got our ground turkey. In this case, I'm using a dark meat, a turkey thigh. In meatballs, it tends to hold the moisture better. If you use regular white meat turkey, it can be a little bit dry. So if you're going to use turkey, I'd recommend using the dark meat turkey. You have a Sicilian Italian spice here. We're going to use some shallots, and I've talked about this company before.
Yes, I wish you could smell this because it's unbelievable.
They're amazing. So Victoria Gourmet does some beautiful different spices. I'll put a little bit of red onion in, some salt and pepper, and then when the dish is all done, we'll put a little bit of tomato sauce and some Parmesan cheese. And you know, if you've got a lot of time and you want to make your mama's sauce, you can do that, but I don't have a lot of time. So I use an organic jarred sauce. And again, there's all different kinds of choices out there. Sometimes I use a butternut squash type of pasta sauce on there. So get creative, but the idea here is that it's quick and easy to do. So the first thing we want to do is get that spaghetti squash ready, and in the oven, you need a really sharp knife.
Very sharp knife.
And then you start by chopping off the ends.
Maybe my knives need to be a little sharper.
Yeah. It's a challenge for sure, but don't let this deter you. It's pretty simple.
We're all strong enough to do this.
Once you get your knife in, you can just sort of rotate the squash and just run the knife through. And then what I do is get it pretty flat on the end and stand it up, and then set my knife in, and then just push down. If it's really hard, I'll sometimes just bang down the squash on the cutting board, but I don't need to do that here.
All right.
Okay. So you end up with two pretty even halves of the squash. And this just helps to keep the moisture while it's steaming. And then I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder on the spaghetti squash as well, just to kind of flavor it a little. And then we're going to get this in the oven so it can be cooking while we're getting our meatballs ready. So I just use an oven-safe dish, and there's a little bit of water in the bottom, maybe just about a 1/4 inch of water. And we're going to set the spaghetti squash face down.
And how long will this cook for?
We're using a convection oven, so that cooks a little bit quicker at about 400 degrees, 425. It'll take about 20 minutes or so.
Okay, now that the squash is in the oven, we're going to start working on the meatballs, right?
That's right. All right. So we've got our ground turkey already ready to go in the bowl. Kathy, why don't you chop up some red onion?
Okay, you want them chopped, diced up?
Yeah, just diced up. We'll put a little bit of red onion in.
You got it.
While she's doing that, I'm going to put in some seasonings. Since this is an Italian dish, I'm going to use a Sicilian Italian seasoning. A little bit of extra garlic, Kathy's favorite ingredient.
That is my favorite ingredient, I know.
Shallots, these are amazing to use in the
They
meatballs.
are.
Yeah,
They're so good.
They're really terrific. A bit of the red onion here that Kathy has chopped up for us. And then it's just a matter of mixing. So I'm just going to use my hands, just a quicker, easier way to mix everything up.
What's so different about these is there's no egg. There's none of that goes with the typical meatball or the cheese.
Right. We're making the meatballs so that they're low carb and, you know, relatively reasonable in terms of fat and those types of ingredients. So now we're just going to, you know, form them into meatballs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making them into a little round meatball here. Just going to put them right onto the parchment paper. Very easy. Put them in the oven.
And then once these are in the oven, they only take really about 10-15 minutes. So
Okay, so it's timed perfectly.
Yeah.
We're going to heat this up, get it going nice and hot, and then we're going to reduce the temperature down just to keep it warm while the squash and the meatballs are getting ready.
All right, so the spaghetti squash is out of the oven, and now I'm going to show you how to just get the seeds out and strip the squash out of its little shell. So
Okay, excellent. I'm going to help.
use a spoon and just kind of scoop the inside flesh with the seeds
That's
right
coming
out.
It's very easy.
Yeah, it's so much easier than when it's raw. So we'll just scoop that out, and I'll just put it back in here. And then you can see already our little spaghetti is forming in there. So the reason why this is called spaghetti squash is because the flesh on the inside, once it's cooked, comes out looking kind of like a spaghetti noodle. And if you keep it, you know, if you cook it for about the length of time that we had said, it will keep the noodle inside or the spaghetti squash inside from becoming too soft. You don't want it to get mushy. So this will be what you might think of as like al dente pasta, for instance.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Simple,
so you just
very
scoop that
easy.
out, and you can see that it forms
Very,
a nice,
very easy. This is great.
nice alternative to pasta.
Yep. And of course, much healthier.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Lady in the Tramp.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, so now we're going to give this a
We're
taste,
ready.
and it looks fabulous. So I'm going to scoop some on, and then we are going to taste it. Get a
Yum.
little more of the squash on here. Okay.
Right, so we'll put it to the Italian test here.
Okay, so I like mine with a little red pepper. That's how I eat my Italian food. So I'm going to add a little bit onto it. All right, take a bite.
All right.
Whoops, I'm going to cut this in half. All right.
Okay.
There we go. So this is my little section. Right here,
Right
Pam.
there. Stay away from your section.
Just a
That's
little.
the spicy section.
This is my spicy section. Okay. Mine's a big bite, sorry.
So good. Very good. Does it pass the Italian
I clearly
test?
took big of a bite. It's actually so good. You really don't even notice the difference. That's what's so crazy about it. It's really good. So, okay, come on everybody. Anybody on this set comes over and they taste this.